The Killing Disorder, the real truth about serial killers. A hidden disorder that causes people to kill, a woman who knows why, and a world that will not listen. No, it's not a horror movie. It's real and it's my life. For the past 3 years, I have lived with the knowledge of why people are randomly killing and being killed for no reason. For the past 3 years, I sat at home knowing the next mass murder, serial killing, school shooting, and so on is going to happen, unable to stop it. And it did. Only understanding what is going on will give the killer the tools to heal and no longer need to kill, and give us the tools to stop it. This is my story. This is the real truth about why serial killers kill. This is the story of the killing disorder. A 19-year-old woman who killed herself after failing to shoot up the Denver schools said, "I live in another dimension." I'm going to take you through that dimension. The dimension that is the world of most serial killers, mass murderers, random killers, and some suicides. Forensic psychologists call it the mystery of mysteries that will never be solved. But what if it isn't? Welcome to the journey through another dimension, one that began in the killer before memory was formed. Welcome to the understanding of what makes them kill that I call the killing disorder. Today there was another school shooting. 2 children, 3 children dead. In the area where I live, I believe more than 5 have or had this disorder. In the nearby high school, there were 9 suicides and 2 in the neighboring high schools. What I'm about to tell you will shock you. It will be hard to hear because I have to take you down an ugly road. But it's better you hear what is ugly, learn what is ugly, and fight what is ugly than live what is ugly. The purpose here is healing. And healing is possible, but not without bringing into light what needs to be healed. In this series of YouTube videos, I will relive my journey toward understanding killers, walking through each step from the moment I took it, while I share with you each discovery and each revelation. This is my story. You can believe it or not believe it. If you believe it, you must share it to stop the killings. Only shining light on the disorder will stop it and save lives. Part 1, how it all began. About 3 years ago, I accidentally discovered there was a mental disorder, or better said, a developmental disorder, that made people become murderers. Serial killers, mass murderers, and random killers. To escape it, some took their lives, making it also the cause for some suicides. Never in my life did I think I would be saying these words. Never in my life did I think I would know the answer to what forensic psychologists call the mystery of mysteries. Never in my life did I think I would end up being an expert in murderers. I was a special education teacher from the day I was born. That was like a zillion years ago. I had certificates to teach in 3 states and in multiple subjects: special education, specialized education. I have a degree in human relations and child development, all the bells and whistles. Though I didn't want a degree in psychology, I studied psychology from superficial disorders like envy to the most bizarre, like the people who believe they have too many legs and try to cut one off. By the way, the doctors brilliantly heal that by putting the patient in the hospital to remove a leg, giving the patient 3 cards, 2 that say keep and 1 that says remove, and leaving the patient to figure out how to put 3 cards on 2 legs. I have understood and have been dedicated to special people my entire life. Sometimes they would simply follow me places. My first student was when I was 9. I'm nearly 70. His name was David. Then there was Joan. Then there was James, all in elementary school. My story began decades earlier with my education and experiences in my life, but the story of understanding the killing disorder began with this movie. One day, I sat to relax, watch a movie, eat snacks, never thinking that movie that I was watching would change my life. I thought it was a movie about a police officer who used his badge to do whatever wrong one could do with a badge. But it was about Russell Williams. Russell Williams was a colonel and second in command at Trenton Air Force Base. Colonel Williams flew fighter jets, you could see right there, was in charge of protecting the Queen of England and flying her to her destinations. He had control over the largest Air Force base in Canada. How many would give anything to have such power, especially power over others, to tell them what to do, how to do it, when to do it? Go here, go there, do this, do that. Power over all the men at the Air Force Base, except for the one that was above him. For years, in the town of Tweed, Ontario, where his vacation cottage was located, Colonel Williams broke into homes and stole women's and girls' underwear, risking everything to do so. It struck me odd because he had to know the Air Force Base would prosecute him. He had to know what he was risking. I could understand if he wanted to dress in women's clothing or underwear, as you can see he did. But why would he risk losing his status at the Air Force Base along with his dignity and freedom when he could have purchased from the store or even the internet for that matter what he needed without risking his entire life and status? Why he needed these things was one thing, but why he would risk everything didn't make sense. It was bizarre to me. When dressing in the underwear didn't work, he raped a woman, then raped and murdered these 2 beautiful women soldiers, our soldiers. He was now a serial killer by Canadian standards. When the movie finished, I knew something was wrong. I had been led to believe that serial killing was done for control, but this man had more control than most could hope for, yet he risked and lost everything to dress in stolen underwear and eventually rape and kill. After being caught, the Air Force burned his uniforms and any reminder of him. But why did he do all this? Being a major studier of people, I had to know. I watched hours of police interrogation after his capture. He confessed to the murders, and yes, it was gross and disgusting. Sad, gruesome, but I had to know. At the very end, the detective asked him if he hadn't been caught, would he have killed again? He replied, I was hoping not. One does not hope when one has control over a situation. In this situation, there was only one reason this type of man would have no control of such behavior. There was only one reason he wouldn't know why he killed and would have had to rely on hope. I knew from my years of working with students who had disabilities that there was a missing thought in Russell Williams, and I knew it was missing before memory was formed. I knew it was missing before birth. Though I didn't know exactly what that thought was in his mind that was missing, I knew there was a thought missing. I flew off the couch. I paced. Oh my God, he was one of ours, meaning he was someone with a developmental disability. And it was this disability from a missing thought in his mind, somewhat similar to the missing thoughts in the people I had worked with all of my life. Somewhat similar to a man I just studied who was very intelligent yet disabled as well. And I knew that disability caused killing, but I didn't know yet how. Revelation 1. So the first thing I learned was that Russell Williams, second in command in Trenton Air Force Base, who had a wife and a good life, had no idea why he killed. That was revelation number 1. The second thing I learned was that he had no control to stop no matter what the cost. That was revelation number 2. The third thing I learned was that Russell Williams had a disability that was developmental, causing him not only to have no control over his actions to kill, but no knowledge of why he killed. When Ted Bundy was asked why he killed, he said, "Smarter men than me have tried to figure that out." That was revelation number 3. The fourth thing I learned, which was revelation number 4, was that the FBI and the police have the motive for serial killing completely wrong. At this point, I knew Russell Williams had a disability, but I thought it was just him. Still, I had to know more.